Good morning, my friends. It's been a few weeks since I last did one of these check ins. I think it was actually at the beginning of January, and now it's at the end of January. I don't think you'll see this video for a week or two because I have quite a busy week and weekend ahead of me, so I don't think I have time to edit and put this video live. But I am filming this at the end of January. I just had my last exam. I think I mentioned this during my last live update that January was going to be quite a dense month for me, mainly because of school. So, as I found out in the Netherlands, they do a condensed month in January and also in June. Instead of doing semesters here, you take your classes in blocks, and January is usually a condensed block, meaning that you take a class that you would normally take in 2 months in a single month, which means that it's basically twice as much work in half as much time. So it was quite intense, but I just had my neuropsychology exam yesterday, which I think went quite well. I believe that my preliminary score is somewhere around 82%. It's not the official score yet, but the preliminary score based on the answer key is around 82%, which I'm pretty happy with, especially because I know that even if I had another week to prepare for it, I wouldn't have done any better because I felt that some of the questions were quite detailed and nuanced. They were asking really specific things about specific studies that I know I wouldn't have taken the time to memorize. Of course, I would have looked through them as I did, and I would have kind of understood the global concepts, but I know I would have not memorized really specific details, which is what they expected us to know. So I'm really happy with how it turned out. I still have a report to write. This week, I think it's due Sunday, but I have to finish it by Friday because Sunday is actually my first High Rocks race, which, as some of you know, I have been training for the past couple of months. So it's going to be quite an intense week, even though it's already Wednesday. I'm sitting here with my paracetamol drink because I'm feeling a little under the weather. I don't know why, but I always break down right after my exams. I guess it's all the cortisol leaving my body. But yeah, I'm here with a paracetamol drink just to make sure that it brings me back to life and I have the energy to finish that report and then race at High Rocks on Sunday. I also have to drop by off at his favorite dog hotel because his other dad is in Bali this month. So he's going to be staying with all his friends, and it's actually his third birthday tomorrow, which I cannot believe. I mean, some of you guys have been with me since I got Pi, or maybe even before I got Pi, and Pi is turning 3 years old, which to me is just insane. I mean, honestly, he has not changed anything. Obviously, he's grown up, but his personality hasn't changed anything, and his features are, yeah, he's still just a big puppy. So yeah, it's gonna be his third birthday, and he's going to stay at a doggy hotel because I'm leaving to, the race is not in Amsterdam, it's in a different city called Maastricht, which is on the border of Germany and the Netherlands. So that's coming up on Sunday, and I still have a lot to finish up. And then next week, instead of having a break, I actually am starting the new blog and I have to get back to filming for you guys regularly. I'm hoping that I only have to miss one upload this month. I feel like I have been pretty consistent with uploading and sticking to uploading once a week. I hope you have been enjoying some of my videos. I know a lot of you enjoyed my What's New from Hermes update. If you have not seen that, make sure to have it linked up here. And then I'm back to filming my The Truth About series, where we take a deep dive into some of the most iconic and most exclusive luxury brands. I have just done a video on the Row, which if you have not seen that, that will also be listed and linked in the info box. And let me know if there are any other brands that you would like me to do a similar deep dive on. There are a couple that you have already asked for, which I'm currently researching and working on, but I like to go to visit the, if I'm doing a video on a specific brand, I like to visit their flagships. I like to talk to the brand or their PR just to make sure that I bring you all the most up-to-date and most accurate information. And I also like to test pieces from the brand, and some of the brands that you asked for, even though I'm aware of, I'm not the most familiar with. So it does take me a little bit of digging to make sure that I present to you not only what's out there, but also my first-hand experience. So don't worry, there is more coming. And if there are any specific brands you would like to hear my thoughts on, the comment section is, of course, always open for you. So that's all about me and what's been going on today. What are we doing in today's video? So in this video, I would like to go luxury shopping slash browsing just because it's the beginning of the year. I am working on an updated luxury wish list video for you, but I'm feeling quite uninspired. I do love the new Dior's men's show, men's show. Sorry guys, it's still early for me. I do love the new Dior's men's show, so I definitely will have a couple of pieces from that show in my wish list or on my wish list. Yes, it is very early still on my wish list. And then yeah, I don't really know what else is gonna go on my wish list luxury wise because there really isn't too much stuff that I'm looking to buy this year, which is why I want to go browsing and see what's out there. And it's also Valentine's Day coming up. So if you're looking for some inspiration on what to buy for yourself or what to treat your loved ones to, then I hope this video will give you some inspiration. I don't know, maybe I'll end up with something, maybe I won't, but I really want to see what's out there. And if that sounds interesting to you and you'd like to see the latest and greatest pieces on shelves, basically what's new in luxury fashion in February, then make sure to give this video a thumbs up. Subscribe down below if you haven't done so yet, and keep on marching. I was just sitting here brainstorming some potential video ideas that I could do in the next couple of weeks. And something that I would love to do for you in the next week or so is a video on luxury items and services that I will no longer spend money on. And it got me thinking about something that I was going to show you tomorrow morning, because this portion of today's video is actually kindly being sponsored by Ulike. And I was going to show you a part of my morning routine tomorrow morning, but I thought this is the perfect chance for me to do that, because one of the things that I can no longer commit to in 2025, or not that I can't, but I just really don't want to, is in-clinic treatments. And it's not because I don't believe in them or I don't think that there is value being added to your life, but with me continuing to work full-time, being in school full-time, trying to work out and train for all these races, I just really don't have the time to stay consistent with these sort of treatments. And yes, most in-clinic treatments work, but only if you continue doing them. There are very few that you can just do once and be done with it. And I just really don't have the bandwidth or the time to prioritize these in-clinic treatments that you have to keep doing. But one thing that I started doing last year and I would not give up on is laser hair removal. Now, thankfully, I am not a very hairy person, but I have quite fair skin and dark hair, which means that the little hair that I have, there is just such a stark contrast between the two that it makes it a lot more substantial than it actually is. So I started doing in-clinic hair removal last year, which I was really happy with for a while. But the last time I got a treatment, it wasn't the greatest experience. And as I mentioned, it's just so much time. It's expensive. It's painful. You cannot schedule in-clinic laser hair removal whenever you want to. You can only do it every 6 weeks. Afterwards, you cannot really go out. You cannot work out for 24 hours because it is quite intense. Not to mention that it's also insanely expensive. And if you are more of a shy person and you don't feel comfortable, getting fully undressed in front of someone, I can completely understand why you would feel more comfortable doing it from the comfort of your home. Now, I have been testing a couple of laser hair removal devices, and one that I have been really impressed with is the ulikex device, which is actually the very first IPL hair removal device that was designed for men. Not to say that women couldn't use this device. Obviously, it is something that anyone can use, but especially those who struggle with coarser, thicker hair, I think will really enjoy this. There are 3 different settings, so you can definitely find something that suits you and your pain tolerance. But let me tell you, even the extra strength treatment is quite painless because it does feature this really cool sapphire cooling device. I have tried several different devices with these sapphire cooling heads, but this, I would argue, is one of the strongest ones. I mean, I can use this all over my body for 30 minutes and it will still be insanely cold to the touch. It almost feels like you're touching ice, weirdly, which does make it really comfortable to use. And I have, of course, been using the strongest setting for most of my body. But depending on how experienced you are and which part of your body you're going to use this on, there are several different settings, and it does actually feature two different types of hair removal technology just to make sure that it gets to the root cause of hair growth. And they did some studies on this, which are also quite impressive. I mean, I feel like anything and everything Ulike does when it comes to hair removal is really just the best of the best, because this brand was actually awarded the best hair removal device award of 2022. So I had really high expectations when I first got this, and I was also really impressed by some of the before and after pictures that they shared with me, which of course I'll also include here for you to see, because you of course want to see results. And now the one thing that I have to say here is that of course you have to continue using this device. With most things, you only see results if you use it. I have been testing this for the past few weeks, and I will continue doing so, especially on my chest, just because my chest is insanely sensitive and I couldn't actually get in clinic hair removal on it because I just couldn't take it. I couldn't even shave my chest because it's so delicate. The skin on my chest is so delicate. So I will continue using this on there. Thankfully, I don't have too much hair, but whatever I have left, this is already making a dent on. I saw results after about 2 weeks of using this, which is not surprising because I think some of the studies that they did showed that you can see an almost 94% hair reduction in as little as 2 weeks. So I will continue using this. And if you're looking for an amazing Valentine's Day gift for yourself or for your loved one, this would be a great place to look, because it is a big investment, but it's something that you can continue using, not just on one part of your body, which would be the case if you go to a clinic. If you buy a package, they will only treat one part of your body, but this you can use on any part of your body whenever you want to. So it is an investment that will go a really long way, and it is a lot more pain-free than what you would get in clinic. So for me, it's not only saving time, effort, but also a ton of money. And of course, it's also important to mention that it is FDA cleared, because safety is important when it comes to any sort of devices. You do get protective goggles with this, and it is cleared by the FDA, not to mention that they do have a board of advisors who are dermatologists and scientists, just to make sure that they can really deliver not only the best results, but the best results in the safest and most pain-free way, which I really, really appreciate. Now, Ulike was kind enough to give me a discount code for you to try in case you're interested in trying hair removal in 2025. Perhaps you want to treat yourself to a Valentine's Day gift. I will make sure to have my discount code listed and linked in the info box for you, but it is G.P.S. Ulike X. So a big thank you to the brand for working with me on this portion of today's video. And if you have any other questions when it comes to laser hair removal, let me know in the comment section. It is something that I do get DMs on, because it's something that I have talked about several times before, and I promised some of you that I would give you an update on it. So here it is. This is the device that I'm currently using, just to make sure that I can not only maintain the results that I already have, but to get rid of any other unwanted hair that I couldn't get to with in-clinic laser hair removal. And so far, this is a device that I have been really, really impressed with. We are starting our adventure at Tiffany because I've actually been curious to look at their lock collection up close and personal, which isn't a new launch. In fact, this collection I think has been out since 2022, but I wasn't really convinced by it at first, so it's taken me until now to properly look at it. And maybe it's because I was a little bit too judgmental, because this collection was kind of Tiffany's response to the success of the Cartier Love Bracelet, which, as you know, usually isn't my cup of tea. But this collection was inspired by a vintage padlock from 1883, and the meaning behind it is quite similar to the love bracelets in that it's meant to represent locking down and protecting the most cherished person in your life. And clearly it has been quite popular, considering that they continue to expand on this line. I think Tiffany very much needed a more casual and modern collection in their lineup that appeals to both men and women, and also a younger audience, as well as clients that appreciate less traditional pieces of fine jewelry with a bold twist, because I feel that Tiffany tends to be seen as quite pretty and proper. They didn't really have anything more cutting edge or more innovative that you would just walk into a store and buy for yourself. I feel like they are a brand that is most known for their heritage pieces, but this collection is quite different. It has a strong industrial look and feel to it, and it beautifully blends white and yellow gold, and most pieces are offered both with and without diamonds, so you have a lot to choose from. And they have also recently launched a narrower alternative to the original lock design, both in a ring and a bracelet form. I'm trying the ring here in the thinner version, which comes in at $3,600 with diamonds, which I actually assumed would be quite uncomfortable, considering that unlike other rings, it isn't perfectly round. Instead, it's more of an oval shape. But to my surprise, I not only got used to the sensation quite quickly, but I also really liked how much statement it made without it going on two fingers, because usually I love rings that go on two fingers, but they can be quite overwhelming or even feminine in most cases. But this, I feel like you got a lot of impact from without it going overboard. And then I also tried the bracelet both in the thinner version with diamonds, which is $12,000, and also the chunkier original lug bracelet, which I think is just around $17,000 depending on the shade of gold you go for with diamonds. And I do see why people would enjoy the thicker one as part of a stack, but the thinner one felt quite wiry and unrefined. It just felt really light, flimsy, and I have to say it wasn't my favorite, but the ring I really did quite like. Anytime someone asks me for a recommendation from Tiffany, my immediate response is always the bone bracelet designed by Elsa Peretti. I really don't think that there is another sculptural piece quite like it out there. In fact, the closest thing I could compare it to is the CDC bracelet from Hermes. Now, don't get me wrong, I don't think they fill the same gap in a collection, but they are both bold, powerful statement pieces, and I believe that if you appreciate one, you will likely enjoy the other two. Although the origin of the bone collection is quite grotesque or poetic, depending on how you choose to look at it. The story goes that Elsa Peretti, the designer of this iconic piece of art, visited a crypt in Rome as a child and stole a piece of bone that she kept as a lucky talisman. You know, to each their own. And in the 1970s, in a stroke of genius, she decided to wrap this bone in solid gold, and thus the bone collection was born. As I mentioned, you can view this story as morbid, or you can interpret it in a way that emphasizes how this piece makes you feel so powerful that you can even laugh in the face of death. I have to be honest with you, I have been admiring this piece from afar for many years at this point, but it's not something I ever tried on. Trying it on, I have so much appreciation for it, but it's personally not my cup of tea. To me, this piece feels a little bit too feminine. But in case you're interested, which I would highly recommend that you try it, this piece starts at $1,700 in solid silver or $20,000 in solid gold. And for the 50th anniversary of this collection, a few years ago, Tiffany introduced the ring version of this collection, both in a split and in a regular sort of design, and I was blown away by the ring. It's not something I would have ever considered, but seeing it on my fingers, I really quite liked it. I think there is a huge price difference between the gold and the silver version, and I'm not really sure which one I would go for if I was to pick up a piece from this collection. What do you guys think? Do you guys think that this ring is a little bit too feminine for me? I would love to hear your thoughts because I have not been the luckiest with rings, but this is quite a special piece that I genuinely would have never considered. But seeing it on my finger, I am quite taken by it. It just feels really fresh, bold, and sculptural. It makes a statement without it looking or feeling overdone or that it's trying too hard. It's just like a breath of fresh air. I'm really taken by this piece. So it's something that perhaps is being added to my 2025 luxury wish list. As I mentioned at the beginning of this video, Tiffany is kind of known for their ornate, opulent heritage pieces. And if there is one that perfectly embodies the essence of the brand, it is the bird on a rock brooch, which I'm sure is a design that you're going to be familiar with. And it is so influential that it even inspired a recent collection called the bird on a rock pendant, which is offered with an array of different colored gems. The one we're looking at here features a just under 18 karat cushion cut aquamarine and over 3.3 carats of handset diamonds. This motif is part of art history and it's recognized as one of the most influential jewelry designs. So if you're a true collector, this piece is available in extremely limited quantities for the humble price of 150,000 euros. But if you are looking to invest in pieces of jewelry that truly feel like a piece of art, this is really quite stunning. And we're back at Louis Vuitton. The last time I was here during a previous vlog, they didn't have either piece I was hoping to see, but I had been told that they are back in stock, so I thought we might as well pass by. The first piece is the pair of sunglasses I am showing you here, and then the other is actually a new bag launch, the Georges bag, which is actually named after the founder of the house. Now, this is a piece that got quite a bit of hype when it first launched. One, because of the insane price tag, and two, because of its uncanny resemblance to the Birkin, which I actually do see. Obviously, it features two structured top handles and an open style structure. It has a similar flap to the one that the Birkin is known for, but more so than anything, I think it's the Sango-like straps and the brackets they sit on that most resemble the Birkin. The Georges bag is part of the men's bag collection, and I have to say it is superior to most Louis Vuitton bag in terms of the craftsmanship and the materials used. I always say that the Capucine bag from Louis Vuitton is kind of in its own league, in that it can be mentioned on the same page with any other Louis Vuitton bag, and the same goes for the Georges bag. It kind of fills the same role in the Louis Vuitton world as the Capucine does in their women's collection. It is just kind of the most premium bag you can buy from the brand. The Georges bag comes in two larger sizes, in size 41 and 49, this one being the larger one. And I think if you enjoy a large and in charge workhorse bag, this is beautifully done, and I do appreciate the fact that it features a removable strap which is of course not something we can say about the Birkin. I think a lot of people will carry this as a travel bag, but just keep in mind that it is quite a weighty bag to begin with. But do I think it's worth $11,000? Because yes, you heard that right. This bag in the larger size will set you back $11,000. Definitely not, because I can just see this bag popping up on sites like Fashion File for a third of the original retail price in a matter of months. But if you're a big Louis Vuitton fan, I do think that this bag is really, really beautifully crafted. Let's end today's video with some newness from Hermes, most of which we have already discussed in detail in recent What's New from Hermes updates. So if you would like to catch up on the latest and greatest from Hermes, I will make sure to have my What's New from Hermes updates listed and linked in the info box. But since we are here, let's have a look at them in person too, starting with the freshly introduced Herbag Mini in size 20, which I am a huge fan of the Herbag, but this mini size I personally don't see the point of. To me, it feels like quite an awkward size to introduce in such a boxy shape, not to mention that they kept the strap quite short, which makes it quite awkward to carry this bag crossbody. But if you feel drawn to this bag, it's available in stores now for just over 2,100 euros. And so is the shoulder Birkin in size 29, which is a smaller reinterpretation of the original shoulder Birkin envisioned by Jean-Paul Gaultier. I feel like I have shared my review of this bag ad nauseum, so instead of boring you by repeating myself again, I'll link some Hermes updates in the corner for you. But long story short, it is a smaller take on the original shoulder Birkin, and what makes this style quite special is that the handles are slightly longer, which allows you to carry this bag under your shoulder, as the name suggests. Personally, it's not a bag I liked back in the day, and that hasn't changed. And last but not least, I had to share with you a glimpse of one of the most eye-catching mini Kellys I've seen in quite a while, featuring a rather rare Electrum hardware which blends palladium and gold in one. So if you noticed that the twist closure is in gold but the plates are in palladium, that's not your eyes playing tricks on you. That's how it was supposed to be. But what stood out to me even more so than that is this excessively saturated shade of blue that looked just kind of unreal. It almost looked retouched in real life, but I did not touch this footage, so this is genuinely how drenched in color this bag looked. I actually forgot to ask for the exact color, but I have a suspicion it is in the shade Blue Frida. And this actually brings us to the end of today's browsing vlog, because I came home empty-handed, but there are a couple of pieces I am considering adding to my luxury wish list, maybe something I could treat myself to for Valentine's Day. But I would love to hear from you in the comment section. Let me know if you have any pieces on your Valentine's Day wish list. Are you considering treating yourself to anything? I would love to hear from you, and a big thank you to Ulike for working with me on a portion of today's video. I have been extremely impressed with their laser hair removal device, so if that's something that you would like to give a go this year, I will make sure to have my discount code listed in the info box for you. But I just really appreciate you being here and watching, and I cannot wait to see you back here with a new video really, really soon.